He thought no one would ever uncover his plan, but the one thing he never expected, the one thing he never even noticed, was already recording every word he said. And tonight, that hidden recording is going to destroy everything he built, including his last lie. The night was colder than usual. A strange stillness hung in the air around the house, a modern, glass-fronted structure with warm lights quietly glowing from inside. On the outside, it looked peaceful. On the inside, it was a storm waiting to erupt. Elena sat alone on the wide gray sofa of the living room. She hadn't turned on all the lights. Only a single warm lamp glowed in the corner, casting long shadows on the marble floor. Her fingers played endlessly with the thin silver chain around her neck, twisting it anxiously, stopping only when she heard the faint sound of the front door unlocking. Her heart didn't race anymore. Not like it used to. Fear had burned out long ago. Tonight, only clarity remained. The door opened slowly and Adrian walked in. A tall man in a charcoal coat, with the kind of presence that once made rooms fall silent. His footsteps echoed across the empty hallway. Adrian paused for a moment as if listening, then stepped inside and shut the door gently behind him. "Elena," he called softly, pretending as if everything was normal. Elena finally looked up. Her face was calm, too calm. "You're late," she said. Adrian forced a smile. "Work. Meetings ran over." "Of course," she replied, her tone neither accusing nor believing. Adrian hesitated. He walked toward the living room, loosening his scarf, studying her carefully. There were days when Elena's eyes revealed everything. But tonight, they revealed nothing. That unsettled him. "Why are the lights so dim?" he asked, pretending to laugh. "Looks like you're planning a horror movie tonight." She didn't laugh. She didn't even smile. Instead, she pointed to the armchair opposite her. "Sit." Adrian blinked. He noticed the stiffness in her tone, something that held weight, something that felt rehearsed. "Elena, is everything all right?" "Yes," she said. "But I don't think it is for you." He frowned. A strange chill ran down his spine. Something was wrong. He could feel it, like a thread slowly tightening around him. "Elena," he said cautiously, "if something is bothering you." She lifted a small object from the side table. A voice recorder. Adrian's breath caught in his chest. He felt the ground shift beneath his feet. What is that?" he asked, though he recognized it instantly. It was one of his old digital recorders he used during his consulting projects, but he hadn't touched it in years. Or so he thought. Elena placed it on the table between them. "This," she said calmly, "has been listening to you for weeks." A heavy silence fell. Adrian swallowed, his mind racing, trying to calculate possibilities. "What do you mean?" "I mean," she said, "that everything you've said, every lie you've told, every plan you made behind my back, it's all recorded. Every single word." Adrian froze. He tried to smile, to mock her, to twist the situation like he always did. "Elena, darling, you're confused." "Why would I?" She pressed the play button. Adrian's voice filled the room. First a whisper. Then a full sentence. Then more. Words he recognized but wished he didn't. Words he had spoken when he thought she was asleep, or out, or unaware. The recorder played fragments. "She'll never know. After the transfer, everything will be in my name. I need her out of the house for at least 3 hours tomorrow. Don't worry, she's too soft to suspect anything." Elena watched his face while the recording played. Tremor. Panic. Shock. It was the first time she had seen Adrian speechless. "Turn it off," Adrian whispered sharply. She didn't. "This is out of context," he tried desperately. "I was talking about business." "You were talking about me," she finished. Adrian stepped closer. "Elena, listen." "Don't," she interrupted. "I have listened enough." For the first time in months, Adrian saw something new in her eyes. Strength. Certainty. Awareness. "Elena, you're misunderstanding everything," he repeated, switching strategies, softening his tone. "Why would I ever hurt you?" "I didn't say you hurt me," she replied. "Not yet at least." Adrian's jaw tightened. "What is that supposed to mean?" "It means," she said slowly, "that I know about the bank accounts. The meetings. The hidden calls. The transfer of assets. The forged documents. All of it. Adrian froze completely now. How? He whispered. Elena leaned back into the sofa, folding her arms. You trained me yourself, remember? You taught me to pay attention, to listen between the lines, to read people. You just never expected me to use your methods on you. Adrian's breath became shallow. Elena, listen to me. I have listened for weeks, she cut him off. Now it's your turn. She pressed another button. This time, the recorder played his voice from 3 nights ago, the night she pretended to be fast asleep upstairs while he whispered to someone on the phone downstairs. Yes, once the signatures are done, she won't have access to anything. I told you, she still trusts me. It's almost too easy. After that, we can move ahead with the plan. Adrian lunged forward and snatched the recorder from the table. But Elena didn't react. Because she wasn't afraid anymore. Who are you talking to? She asked quietly. Silence. Who? She repeated. Adrian gripped the recorder tightly, as if he could crush the evidence with his bare hands. Elena, you don't understand, he finally muttered. No, she said. For the first time, I do. He exhaled shakily. What do you want? She stood up slowly, her expression unreadable. I want the truth. Adrian laughed nervously. Elena, the truth is complicated. No, she said. Your lies were complicated. The truth is always simple. He backed away a step. Something about her calmness frightened him more than anger ever could. Elena, let's talk tomorrow. We're both tired. She turned toward him sharply. No, we talk tonight. Adrian felt sweat at the back of his neck. Elena, please, I can fix this. She shook her head slowly. You already broke everything. Then she walked toward the hallway, toward the room he never allowed her to enter. The one with the documents. The locked drawers. The secrets. Elena, he shouted. But she opened the door anyway. And inside, she found something he never expected her to discover. Something that would make everything explode. Something that would turn tonight from confrontation into war. Elena pushed open the door slowly, her fingers trembling not with fear, but with the weight of truth she knew she was about to uncover. The room was darker than she expected. It had always been off limits, always locked, always Adrian's workspace. But tonight, every lock, literal and emotional, was falling apart. The faint aroma of old paper and cologne filled the room. A desk lamp glowed dimly, illuminating piles of folders, rolled documents, and a laptop left half open. On the wall hung several framed certificates and photographs, Adrian shaking hands with business partners, Adrian standing proudly at corporate events, Adrian smiling with people she didn't know. She stepped inside, her eyes adjusting to the low light. Behind her, Adrian appeared at the doorway, breathing heavily. Elena. Stop, he said, voice cracking with a mix of warning and desperation. You don't know what you're doing. She didn't turn around. I know exactly what I'm doing. Elena, please, he tried again, stepping into the room. This isn't how we should handle. Handle what? She snapped. Your betrayal? Your secret accounts? Your plans to erase me from everything we built. Elena. Don't, she said, raising her hand. Don't lie again. She walked to the desk and pulled open the top drawer. Empty. The second drawer, more documents. The third, locked. Of course. She turned to Adrian. Where's the key? He pressed his lips together, refusing. Elena didn't argue. She simply picked up the heavy metal paperweight on the desk, one he loved, a polished stone sphere from one of his business trips. And without hesitation, she slammed it down onto the lock. The drawer burst open. Adrian flinched. Are you insane? No, she whispered. Just done. Inside the drawer were files, thick, organized, labeled with dates and initials. Her initials. E.R. Elena Rivera. She pulled out the first folder. Her hands shook as she opened it. Inside were documents she had never seen before. Bank statements. Property transfer drafts. A life insurance policy. And a document that made her blood run cold. Power of attorney, full asset control, Adrian Cole. Her signature was at the bottom. Her signature. Except she had never signed this. Her breath hitched. You forged my signature? Elena, listen. I said don't lie, she screamed, slamming the papers on the desk. Adrian stepped back, visibly shaken. This wasn't the Elena he was used to. The quiet one. The trusting one. The one he thought he could manipulate forever. Elena. I can explain everything, he muttered. She laughed, a sound he wasn't prepared for. It wasn't madness. It was clarity. You can explain? Good. Start. Tell me why my signature is on a document that hands you every single thing I own. He didn't answer. She stepped closer. Tell me. Adrian opened his mouth but shut it again. His eyes darted to the door as if calculating escape. She placed the fake document on the table. You really thought you would get away with this? Elena, it's more complicated than. No, she snapped. I trusted you. I believed in you. I defended you. And you were planning to erase me like I was some obstacle. He clenched his jaw. That's not what this was. Really? She grabbed another file. Then what's this? A detailed schedule of my routines? What time I leave? What time I sleep? What time I'm out of the house? She threw it onto the desk. Who are you coordinating with? Adrian blinked. Coordinating. Yes, she said. There's someone else. Someone who knew your plans. Someone you reported to. Elena. That call, she continued sharply. The recorder caught your voice. You said, after the signatures are done, we move ahead with the plan. Who are you talking to? He inhaled deeply, his mask slipping. That doesn't matter, he said. It matters to me. It's not what you think. It's exactly what I think, she replied, her eyes blazing. She stepped around the desk and opened another cabinet. More papers, more drafts, more lies. Elena, Adrian said softly, you're angry. You're overwhelmed. You're jumping to conclusions. She turned slowly, deliberately. No, Adrian. I'm finally seeing the truth. He closed his eyes for a moment. When he opened them again, something changed, subtle, but undeniable. His pupils narrowed slightly. His voice lowered. The softness drained away. Elena, he said quietly, you should stop. The warning was now explicit. Not emotional. Not accidental. Intentional. She felt goosebumps rise on her arms. Why? She whispered. What happens if I don't? He didn't answer. She took a step back, never breaking eye contact. Her hand brushed against a stack of envelopes bound by a rubber band. She pulled them closer. They were addressed to a company she didn't recognize. A foreign address. A financial institution. Encrypted forms. What is this? She asked. Adrian exhaled heavily, rubbing his temple. Elena, you're looking at things you shouldn't. Why not? She pushed. They're about me. My life. My future. My name. Elena, he took a step toward her, slowly, like someone approaching a wild animal. Put those down. No, she whispered. His jaw clenched. Elena, I'm warning you. For what? Reading the truth? His silence answered her. The truth wasn't just betrayal. It wasn't just money. It wasn't just control. There was something deeper. Something darker. Something he had been hiding long before the forged documents. Elena, he whispered, voice low and cold, there are things you don't understand. Things that are bigger than you. Bigger than us. Her heartbeat thudded loudly in her ears. So that's it, she said. You're involved in something else. He didn't deny it. A chill ran through her body. What were you planning to do with me? He stepped closer. Let's not make this worse. She backed away until her hip hit the desk. Her fingers instinctively closed around the recorder she had placed earlier. Elena, give me that, Adrian said, extending his hand. She gripped the recorder tighter. No. He inhaled sharply, frustration bubbling beneath his calm exterior. Elena, you don't understand. That recording, if someone else hears it. Someone else will hear it, she cut in. I made copies. His face drained of color. You? What? I sent one to my lawyer, she lied confidently. And one to someone else. If anything happens to me, anything at all, they will open it. For the first time tonight, Adrian looked afraid. Elena, he whispered, you don't know what you've done. I protected myself, she said. He shook his head. No. You started something you can't control. The atmosphere thickened. Something shifted between them, two people who once shared love now standing on opposite sides of a silent battlefield. "Elena," he said, voice steadier now, "listen to me. We can fix this. But only if you give me that recorder, right now." She hid it behind her back. "No," she said. "I'm done giving." Adrian's expression hardened. The last trace of softness vanished. "Elena," he said slow and cold, "if you walk out of this room with that recording, everything changes." She met his eyes. "It already has." He took one step forward. She took one step back. And in that moment, the lamp flickered. The hallway light turned on by itself. A soft click echoed from somewhere in the house. Someone else was inside. Not imagined. Not of fear. Real. Adrian's face paled instantly. "Elena," he whispered urgently, "don't move." But Elena already knew. Adrian wasn't the only threat in this house tonight. Elena didn't move. Not because Adrian told her to, but because the sound she heard didn't belong in their house. It wasn't the creak of old wood, or the hum of appliances, or the shifting of wind. It was deliberate. Soft. Measured. A footstep. Elena's breath froze in her chest. Adrian's eyes darted to the hallway, the same hallway that moments ago had been silent and empty. Now a faint shadow stretched across the floor, long and unfamiliar, cast by the light that had mysteriously turned on. "Elena," Adrian whispered again, this time with fear threading through his voice, "listen to me carefully." But before he could finish, the shadow moved. Slowly. Purposefully. Adrian stepped forward, placing himself between Elena and the open door of the secret room. His posture was tense, protective, but not in the way a husband protects a wife. No, it was territorial. Defensive. Like someone afraid their secret had just walked into the house. Elena's pulse hammered violently. "Who is here?" she whispered. Adrian didn't answer. His silence was worse than any lie. The shadow paused just outside the door. Both of them stared, frozen in place, breath shallow. The house, usually filled with warmth, conversations, memories, felt like a trap tightening around them. Then came another sound. A whisper of clothing. The soft click of something metallic. A faint inhale. Someone was definitely there. "Adrian," Elena said, her voice trembling, "tell me who is in this house." His jaw tightened. His eyes flicked to her, then back to the hallway. "You weren't supposed to be awake tonight," he muttered under his breath. Her stomach sank. What does that mean? But he didn't answer. Instead, he did something that terrified her more than anything before. He stepped fully into the hallway and closed the door behind him, locking her inside. "Adrian," she shouted, grabbing the handle, twisting it furiously. "Open this door." But he didn't. Outside, muffled voices began. Low. Urgent. Male voices. Two of them. Elena pressed her ear against the door. "She saw the files," Adrian hissed. "You said she never checked that room." "She wasn't supposed to." "The recording, she has it." "Where is it now?" "I don't know, she might have taken copies." "If this leaks, we're both finished. We need to contain this." Contain. Not explain. Not discuss. Contain. Elena's nails dug into her palm. She stepped back, her heart hammering violently. The room around her felt smaller, darker. On the desk lay the forged documents, her fake signature, the envelopes, the proof of his betrayal. She realized something horrifying. Adrian wasn't just hiding financial deception. He was involved in something dangerous. Something with another man. Something they didn't want anyone to know about. And now they knew she knew. She scanned the room for something, anything, to defend herself. Her hands fell on the metal paperweight again. Heavy. Solid. Comforting in a terrifying way. Then the voices outside grew louder. "Elena, open the door," Adrian said suddenly, but his tone was wrong. Too calm. Too forced. "Everything is fine, just open the door." She stepped back. "No." "Elena," he said again, louder this time, "unlock the door." "I'm not stupid, Adrian," she replied. "You're not alone." "Who is with you?" Silence. Then a voice she didn't recognize, deep, rough, controlled, spoke. "Elena," the stranger said, "open the door. We don't want to hurt you." Her blood turned to ice. Adrian's voice cut in sharply, as if warning the stranger to stay quiet. She doesn't need to know who you are. Elena's breath came fast and ragged now. Her fingers tightened around the paperweight. She knew she had seconds, maybe minutes, before that door opened, one way or another. She scanned the room again. And then she saw it. A small, barely noticeable door in the corner of the room. Something she had never noticed before. A storage closet? A utility panel? Maybe a secondary exit? She ran toward it and pulled. Locked. Of course. But this time, she didn't hesitate. She grabbed a metal ruler from the desk and jammed it between the frame and the lock. With a desperate jerk, the lock clicked open. Behind it wasn't a closet. It was a narrow maintenance passage, dimly lit by a single emergency bulb. A hidden path. A way out. Elena! Adrian shouted again, banging on the main door now. Open the damn door. She didn't look back. She slipped into the passage and shut the secret panel behind her. The moment the door closed, darkness swallowed her. The only sound was her own shaky breath and the faint echo of footsteps in the distance, footsteps inside the hidden passage, but she couldn't tell if they were ahead of her or behind her. She forced herself forward, her hands brushing along the rough walls, guiding her through the narrow corridor. The air was cold, stale, smelling of dust and old insulation. Then she heard it. The secret room door burst open behind her. Footsteps rushed in. Furniture shifted. Papers scattered. She's not here. How did she get out? Find her. Now. Panic surged through Elena's veins. She quickened her pace, almost running now, her breath echoing loudly in the confined space. The passage curved, slanted downward, then up again. Another sound behind her. Footsteps. Fast. Unmistakable. Getting closer. Adrian's voice boomed in the darkness. Elena! Stop running. Just come back, we can talk. Talk. He wanted to talk now? After forging her signature, planning something sinister, bringing a stranger into their home? She pushed forward, nearly tripping over a split in the floor. Elena! Adrian's voice echoed again, closer this time. Don't make this worse. She reached the end of the passage, a grate. She pushed. It didn't move. She pushed harder. Still nothing. Behind her, footsteps drew nearer. Elena, Adrian said, softer now, almost pleading, you don't know what they'll do if you run. Please. I'm trying to protect you. You're lying, she shouted, ramming her shoulder into the grate. A crack. A shift. A tiny movement. She threw her weight into it again. It burst open. Cold night air rushed in, filling her lungs with hope and terror all at once. She crawled out into the backyard, into the shadows beyond the house. The grass was wet beneath her feet. The wind bit at her skin. The world felt huge after the suffocating darkness inside the passage. She started to run. Lights flashed on behind her, security lights Adrian forgot were motion triggered. Elena! Adrian yelled from inside. Stop. She didn't. She sprinted across the yard, heart pounding, adrenaline flooding her veins. She didn't know where she was going. She didn't know what Adrian was capable of. She didn't know who the stranger was. But she knew one thing. She wasn't safe in that house. Not anymore. As she reached the edge of the property, she heard a chilling sentence drift through the night air, spoken by the stranger. If she gets away, Adrian, everything falls apart. Elena ran harder. Not from fear. Not from confusion. But from the truth that was finally crystal clear. Adrian wasn't just lying. He was part of something deadly. And they were willing to do anything to keep her silent. The house was too quiet. Too still. Too calm for a place where so many secrets had lived, bled, and finally begun to scream. Aisha walked down the hallway of their luxury home, her fingers lightly brushing the cold marble wall, as if feeling the pulse of a place that had witnessed every betrayal, silently. Behind her, footsteps approached slow, hesitant, almost cautious. It was Daniel. His breathing was uneven, but not from fear. From calculation. He had gotten away with lies all his life. He believed he could twist every story, manipulate every moment, and walk away untouched. But tonight, the ground beneath him had begun to crack. "Where are you going?" Daniel asked, trying to sound calm, but failing. Aisha didn't turn around. "I'm going to finish something you started." Daniel froze. That sentence was too precise, too intentional. His mind raced. Did she know everything? Had someone talked? Did she find the messages? Did she check the other phone he hid? Or did she know about the recording? No. Impossible. The camera had been well hidden. There was no way Aisha stopped walking. She turned slowly, her eyes meeting his with an unsettling stillness. "You really thought you were smarter than everyone, didn't you?" Daniel swallowed. "Aisha, listen, we need to talk calmly." She smiled. A small, controlled, deadly smile. "No, Daniel. You've talked enough for a lifetime. Now you will listen." Her voice wasn't loud. It didn't need to be. Its calmness was the part that terrified him. Just then, the lights flickered. The hallway, once warmly lit, now felt colder, like the house itself was preparing for confession. Aisha walked past him, heading toward her office. The door creaked open, revealing a room neat, organized, untouched since morning. Daniel followed slowly. On the desk lay her laptop, open, a single audio file glowing on the screen. Daniel's heart stopped. It was the recording. The one he thought was hidden. The one that captured everything: his calls, his plans, his betrayal. How did you find that?" he whispered. Aisha didn't look up. "I didn't find it. I placed it." Daniel stiffened. "She placed it?" That meant she knew long before he realized. "You've been recording me?" he asked, voice cracking. Aisha finally looked at him, eyes steady and merciless. "No, you have been recording yourself. I only made sure the truth wouldn't die in silence." Daniel shook his head. He was losing control. For the first time in his life, he had no escape plan. "Aisha, please, let me explain." She raised a hand. "Not a word. You lied to my face. You stole. You betrayed. You tried to destroy me, with the confidence of a man who believed I was blind." She stepped closer. "But you forgot something, Daniel. A woman who stays silent isn't weak. She's just watching." Daniel backed away. Aisha moved past him and sat in her chair. "Sit," she ordered. Daniel obeyed. Not out of respect. Out of fear. She clicked on the audio file. His own voice echoed through the room. "Don't worry, she won't suspect a thing. Aisha believes everything I say. She's too soft. Too trusting. By the time she realizes, the money will already be moved. She'll have nothing." Daniel felt sweat gathering at his forehead. The voice continued, his voice planning, laughing, manipulating. "I'll say she mismanaged finances. Her family already thinks she's emotional. No one will believe her." Aisha paused the audio. Daniel closed his eyes. "Aisha, please." "I was angry, stupid. I didn't mean." "You meant every word," she interrupted. Silence filled the room. But it wasn't over. She clicked another file. This one was worse. It was a call with his mistress. "Once I'm done with her, you and I will leave with everything. She'll be left with nothing but tears. She deserves that for being boring." Aisha paused it. Daniel buried his face in his hand. He was exposed, completely, brutally exposed. Aisha stood, circling him like a truth he could no longer escape. "You wanted to destroy me," she said quietly. "But instead, you handed me everything I needed." He looked up confused. Aisha picked up a folder from the desk and dropped it in front of him. Inside were printed bank statements, transfers, secret accounts, hidden withdrawals, all connected to him. "How did you get this?" he muttered. Aisha leaned in. "You underestimated the one person who knew you better than you knew yourself." Daniel felt his breath tighten. She wasn't angry. She wasn't emotional. She was controlled, dangerously controlled. And that scared him more than any shouting ever could. "Aisha, please. I can fix this. I can return the money. We can work this out." "There is no we anymore," she said. Her voice sliced through him. "You lost that the day you decided I was weak." The lights flickered again. Thunder rumbled outside. The storm had arrived outside and inside. Aisha stepped away and picked up her phone. I'm giving you one chance, Daniel. Only one. He looked up desperately. What chance? The chance to confess before the world hears your voice. Daniel's blood froze. You wouldn't. She walked toward the door. I already have, she said softly. And tomorrow, when the truth is out, the name that will drown isn't mine. Daniel stood abruptly. Aisha, don't do this. Please. You'll ruin me. She turned, her expression unreadable. You ruined yourself. And with that, she walked out, leaving him alone in a room filled with the echoes of everything he thought would stay hidden. Daniel stood frozen in the quiet room, the storm crashing violently outside, while a greater storm gathered inside him. His breath trembled. His mind raced. His world, carefully built on lies, manipulation, and confidence, was collapsing faster than he could chase it. Aisha's footsteps faded down the hallway. He felt the moment slipping away, like sand through trembling fingers. He needed to stop her. He needed to regain control. He needed one last lie, one perfect sentence, to make everything normal again. He rushed out of the office, calling after her. Aisha, please. We can fix this, just talk to me. But the house swallowed his words. Aisha did not look back. She moved like a woman who had already crossed the point of no return. Daniel reached the living room, heart pounding, only to find her standing near the large window. The city lights outside glowed against the storm clouds, flickering like witnesses to their final battle. Aisha didn't turn as she spoke. You still think words can save you, Daniel? He stepped toward her slowly, his voice trembling with desperation. I made a mistake, many mistakes. But we can rebuild. I can explain. She laughed softly, one of the coldest sounds Daniel had ever heard. You keep using that word, she said. Explain. As if explanations can erase intentions. Daniel tried to reach for her hand. She stepped away. Aisha, I love you. She finally turned. Her eyes held no hatred. Only truth. Love, she repeated. You love what I gave you. You love the comfort, the money, the safety. You loved the ease of having someone who trusted you blindly. But you never loved me. Daniel's throat tightened. Aisha, please. I can't lose you. I can't lose everything. That, she replied, is the only honest thing you've said tonight. He froze. She walked past him and sat on the wide sofa, her posture calm and terrifyingly composed. Daniel, she said, sit. He obeyed without resistance. His hands shook. Aisha placed her phone on the table. A video was paused on the screen, his recording. Daniel exhaled sharply. You're going to release it? No, she said. It's already released. Daniel's face drained of color. Aisha, what did you do? She leaned back, crossing her arms. 30 minutes ago, I sent the full recording, the documents, the statements, and your messages to 3 places. My lawyer, the board of your company, and the Charity Foundation's investigation team. Daniel felt the room spin. You know, Aisha, they'll fire me. They'll destroy my reputation. I'll lose everything. You already lost everything, she said. Now the world simply knows it. Daniel stumbled backward, gripping the edge of the table. His voice cracked like a man screaming underwater. Aisha, please. You don't know what they'll do. They can press charges, criminal charges. I'll go to prison. Aisha looked at him for a long moment. Then she stood. I know. He choked. You're letting that happen? She walked toward him until she was close enough for him to feel her steady breath. You chose your path, Daniel. Every message you sent. Every lie you crafted. Every plan you made behind my back. You destroyed your own life long before I pressed send. He fell to his knees. Aisha, I have nothing without you. Please. She stepped away, but she didn't speak, because something else was about to speak for her. Her phone buzzed. A notification. She picked it up. A new email, subject line, statement received, urgent action underway. Daniel gasped. Aisha, please, don't do this. She ignored him. Another notification. Then another. His world was collapsing in real time. He grabbed her wrist gently, not forcefully, but hopelessly. Aisha, look at me, please. Please, just one chance. One last chance. She slowly withdrew her hand. Daniel, you never once gave me a chance. Not even the chance to know the truth. He broke. Tears fell. But they didn't move her. Aisha's strength tonight wasn't born from anger. It was born from clarity. She walked to the side table and picked up a thick envelope. She placed it on the center table in front of Daniel. What is this? He asked weakly. My answer, she said. He opened it with shaking fingers. Inside were divorce papers. But not just any papers. Everything was organized. Everything was prepared. Everything was ready. Daniel stared at them stunned. You planned this? Aisha nodded. For weeks, she said. Once I realized who you truly were. He looked up at her, broken. You've been preparing to leave me, all this time? No, she said calmly. I was preparing to set myself free. His chest tightened painfully. Aisha, please. But she cut him off with a gesture. There's something else you should know. He looked up, desperate. Aisha picked up a final document and held it out. My inheritance, she said. The one you thought you could steal. The one you thought I was too blind to protect. Daniel blinked. He knew she had money, but he never knew how much. Until now. The document stated an astronomical figure. A sum that could change nations. She wasn't just rich. She was untouchable. Aisha, all this time, you had. Yes, she said. And you tried to take it. His breath died in his chest. She walked toward the door. Aisha, please don't leave me like this. She stopped at the doorway. Her silhouette framed against the hallway light. Her voice steady. You didn't just betray me, Daniel. You underestimated me. He shook his head, tears falling freely. Aisha, she didn't look back. You wanted to destroy me, she whispered. But in the end, you destroyed yourself. And with that, she stepped out of the room, leaving Daniel alone, kneeling on the cold floor, surrounded by the ruins of his own making. Outside, the storm finally broke. But inside the house, a far greater storm had already found its end. Aisha walked away free. Daniel stayed behind broken. And the truth became the only thing louder than the thunder. If you love this story, don't forget to like and subscribe. And thanks for watching.